we gonna go to part 2, I guess. I get technical difficulties. Part 2 says that was what I was dealing with, y'all. So when you're talking about all of those relationships, for me, it went very, very personal. My relationship with God. My relationship with God. How in the world do I reconcile what my beloved grandmother, Mama Ann, taught me and raised me to be as a child of God who accepted Jesus the Christ of Nazareth as his Lord and personal Savior, got baptized, was born again. I went through the process, and then I've had overwhelming success walking by faith and not by sight. The Word of God is very, very important. So Mama Ann was right in my life, and she was right about the kids, and Chief Noble was right, and Maisha was right when she took me into the church, and Mom Noble was right when she said God wanted me to keep writing. My relationship with God. How does that go? What do I do? How do I process that with my relationship with my own parents, my own mother, my own father, and the women that I got kids with? My mother, my father, and 5 women: Simone, Katrina, Annette, Jessica, Maisha. These 7 people shape who I am as a man, molded by Anna Grant and Ethel Lee Poole, the grandmothers. The aunties don't matter. The half-sister don't matter. The high school classmates don't matter. It's my mother, my father, and the 5 women, beautiful women that I totally am madly in love with because of what they did for me by giving me my legacy, those kids. Those 5 women have every right to use their social media platforms to call me out and say, no, everything that nigga doing, I don't give a fuck what no big say. Everything that dude is doing, he doing so he can make me a millionaire. And do you know if Simone, Katrina, Annette, Jessica, Maisha started talking that, I'd have to say, yeah, they right. They the ones that gave me them babies. And them babies is the reason I'm trying to do all of this stuff. They get their props. My relationships with the mothers of my children. And if I'm honest, there's about 5 or 6 more women over the course of 30 years that I totally look at and give wife authority to. The women that I got kids with, I want to put them in the house and make them millionaires, just like my wife. And there are women who didn't have my kids, but they held me down when those 5 women betrayed me. I owe them too. They don't know this stuff, y'all. Relationships. My mother, my father, the children I got kids with, and my children and the women I love, the battle buddies I got. Yeah, y'all. So, that being said, let's talk about women and men that we've seen over time. LeVar Ball, Umar Johnson. Ladies, we're going to start with the fellas. Umar Johnson, no kids, no wife, telling people, black men, what to do and what type of woman. We need to choose our sisters. And I know multiple black men that feel like me. Nigga, we going with who love us. Shut the fuck up talking about you represent us and telling us what to do. We ain't fucking with you. Build the fucking school. And we looking at LeVar with this white woman saying, shit. That's what you want to do right there. When it comes to fathers and black men, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going with LeVar and LeVar's way of doing things over any. Umar is pure entertainment to me. I am not listening to not a goddamn thing dude say, what the fuck was this dude in 84 when crack shaped everything? My aunties turned into crack whores. My uncle died. My aunt died. Grandma gone. Nigga, you owe me $1 million just for listening to you. LeVar, keep doing what you're doing, homeboy. I'm going to find me a white girl. Take care of me, too, just in case something happened to me. Nigga, I want a good... Y'all don't want to know how I feel about it because it's going to go against the grain of what they saying. Now look at here. Is it even worth it for me to even look to marry a black woman? Look at here. Between Vivica Fox, Lisa Ray, Issa Rae, Keke Palmer, Angel Reese, Megan, Cardi, Nikki, Lotto, what's that other girl name? Glorilla, Sexy Red. These women all represent today's demographic of black women. It might be worth it for me to marry an immigrant. Have y'all seen what a Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican immigrant that's trying to stay in this country and needs to get married? I think that might be right up my alley. 20-some years old, ready to make some babies, and ooh, a whole new dating pool just opened up to me because of the way these laws is changing. There might be love found in immigrants for me. I advise all people to listen to what my wife say. Maisha Harris and the niggas that Maisha fuck with. This is the Relationship Narcissist podcast. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Me, looking at what I lived, what was told to me in reference to love, who lied to me about love, what was told and what I lived, it might be worth it for me to, them niggas Maisha fuck with, let the sisters fuck with that. The womanhood, work husband niggas, me, let me go find me a Puerto Rican, Dominican immigrant that's trying to stay. Anyway, don't get me started on the whole thing because I'm just gonna go play the cards I was dealt. They don't like me, much less love me. They love what I do for them. They love that dick, that head game, the generosity, the pray and protect and provide, take care of their kids like they my own. They love a bunch of shit I do for them. They do not love me. The love I get from the other races is overwhelming. And the black women that do love me, they love me with conditions. Eventually, I end up being the bad guy, and I end up owing. So I pay them what I owe them, and I go look for real love where it is looking for me. Simplifies the process. I don't advise nobody to do it because the longer these niggas stay fucking with my wife and my baby mamas, the more options that are out here for me. So I don't give advice. That leads me to why I don't give advice. What they don't talk about. And you know what they don't talk about, y'all? What they don't talk about is the true post-traumatic stress. We gonna call it depression. They call it disorder. There's a movement to drop the D altogether and just call it PTS, post-traumatic stress. The stress and depression, that's a byproduct of it. That's why I guess they don't use it. The stress that causes the disorder that comes after the trauma. For combat veterans, it is on a whole nother level, and everybody act like they understand. Now, combat PTSD is not to be confused with regular life PTSD that may come from simple, unresolved childhood trauma. For example, from the age of 0 to 20, I was faced with the reality that is my family, the family that I got. You can't control who your parents are. My family does not love me. By 20 years old, I had to had to come to that realization. The first 20 years of my life was spent realizing and understanding and coping with the fact that my family does not love me. My mother, my father, my half-sister, my auntie, my cousins, my aunties. I had to find love from two sources in my family, both grandmothers. I didn't know my grandfathers. I don't have any uncles. My father's an only child. My mother has all sisters. A whole generation in my family of men was wiped out before I was even born. I had some great uncles that I didn't know. So from 0 to 20, my unresolved childhood trauma that I didn't resolve until I was 30, in my 30s, I was in the military. I spent the first 10 years of adulthood, from 21 to 31, just living with it, dating, and making baby, looking for love in all the wrong places, trying to compensate for the love that I missed from my own mother, my own sister, my own aunties, my own cousins. Totally twisted. My first crush was my first cousin, Kenya. That's the first time I ever got head was my first cousin, another first cousin. Second time I ever got head was my sister's childhood best friend, next door neighbor, which y'all call abuse now. So from 0 to 20, my own family don't love me. From 20 to 40, the next 20 years of my life, the women I love don't love me. Starting with the women, with my first girlfriends that I fell in love with. From Charlotte, well, not Charlotte, from Rashida, all the way up to the woman I married 20 years later. The women I love don't love me. Now, from 40 to 50 was my favorite celebrities don't love me. So we talking about 50 years in 3 sections, from 0 to 20, from 20 to 40, and from 40 to 50, in which we are living the second half of those years where I finally started looking where the love was, instead of looking where the love wasn't. So I came home, got married, started a family. She proved to be the same type of broad that I tried to get away from. And then I got my own apartment at 40, and I started looking at celebrities, and I'm like, these motherfuckers don't love us either. And that's when I started finding real love. And it was not where people say it was. It was unexpected, and it came in spirit through God. And there's only a few black women on that list. The black women are actually outnumbered. Shout out to Keisha Cass, who totally changed my life and my perspective about black women. When I met Keisha, I had given up on dating black women, and I still kind of don't really check for black women like that romantically. I ain't checking for no sisters. I'm checking for Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and Mexicans and Caucasians. I'm checking for everybody but black women romantically. But that left with Maisha Harris. I just didn't say it publicly. Maisha Harris was the last black woman that I ever took seriously in reference to God, love, family, relationships, any of that. I don't take sisters. My generation, the generation of black women that I take seriously is dead. Dying. The rest of them are dying off. But anyway, that leads me to something that caught me a bit off guard when I figured out my favorite celebrities don't love me. I was on an app called TikTok. And at the turn of the year, or right when the presidential election was over, TikTok went down, and I saw people, not just females, I guess. I saw American civilians, the shit that people revealed about themselves when one app got shut down. That made a lot of stuff make sense to me in my personal life. I'm like, oh shit, my baby mamas can't do shit compared to some of the shit I saw. Y'all made me thankful for the crazy women I know. That was something. But it opened up some bigger issues, people, in reference to mental health. See, we started with PTSD, talking about me, but that's a segue for y'all's mainly because I've gone through therapy. I've had therapy. I went through Operation Iraqi Freedom 07, 08, right? There's been regulated therapy in my life ever since 08, 09 at Fort Lewis, Washington. I just don't talk about it. I'm a veteran at this shit, and it's just now coming to the forefront that America's mental health issues For example, remember this is the relationship narcissist. If I tell a bitch communication is key, right? We're gonna be co-parenting this time. I'm gonna make you proud as an ex. And a bitch go to Facebook and go propping up a side nigga and a work husband and go and make me the topic. Is she crazy, or do I have to go over there and slap a bitch? This, if you click the link in a bitch bio and it say her married name and she calling her father-in-law or dad, but she trashing her husband and dragging his name, and ain't nobody told her that he is her biggest cheerleader. Is Maisha Harris mentally ill for not recognizing that I'm her biggest cheerleader? Or is the youngster Shamia Lewis looking like she was right when she said, that's your wife, but I'm your woman? She was 17, 18 years old, told me that shit. I laughed at her. I thought she was just looking for some good dick, but I taught her some tricks. But nah, Shamia Lewis was talking the truth while Maisha Harris was faking the funk. Who's mentally ill, and is mental illness something that gets talked about over there? Do I love these women more than they love themselves? I love them enough to go to therapy with them. I love them enough to recommend a good therapist for them. I love them enough to diagnose what was diagnosed about the women that raised me and about myself. I am diagnosed with migraines, insomnia disorder. I have symptoms that show separation anxiety behind those kids and social anxiety disorder. And I have anxiety attacks. That's mental health. I can talk about that stuff because I was talking about it. I can talk about it publicly on a public platform, on my platform, because I talked about it privately already. I heard what Gina Brooks said on her motherfucking profile. I heard what she said. What everybody she talked to tells. I heard what Maisha said. But I got these goddamn BlackBerry messengers and these Galaxy Notes and these old iPhones with every message that everybody ever sent. And everybody know who I love in my personal life. And they know I'm loyal to them. But these relationships bring me to my own wife's post-traumatic stress, my own mom and dad, and my own delusional ass half-sister that I can't stand, and they friends. And it leads me to my name, my life, James Elliott Frazier Jr. In relation to the name James Elliott Frazier Jr., if you talking about that name, especially online or on social media, and you don't bring up the names Deborah Stewart or Katrina Fincher, let's just say I got the answers. The mothers got the excuses. That means my wife, my mama, the baby mamas, they got excuses. I got the answers. The answers to the name James Elliott Frazier Jr. and James Elliott Frazier Sr. lie with women named Deborah Stewart and Katrina Fincher, who had James Elliott Frazier III, who, because didn't nobody talk about him, I should go slapping people because of it. But since James III didn't react, I'm not going to react either. My kids are running the show. They just don't know that the authority has been given to them. So I'm making it known. But in reference to my name, shouldn't bitches like Gina Brooks talking about my kid, why I don't see my kids and my mental health issues, she don't know nothing about, that'll get that bitch popped in her mouth. My mental health issue, I came home healed, bitch. You are a direct result of my resolved childhood trauma. You ain't got no business talking to my wife or the mother of my child. Simone, Maisha, you fucked up. That relationship right there. But this is the relationship narcissist, and we talking about me. I got the answers. Mom got the excuses. Shout out to my Frazier babies from Agenay all the way down to Baby Billy. Now we gonna segue into a little something that's new for me on the podcast game, and that is podcasts. Shit, I didn't see Tidra Moses on R&B Money. Mark Jackson, the retired NBA player, got a podcast with his son. Mark Jackson need his motherfucking flowers. Look, Candace Owens is still doing numbers, but I think she might be too young to understand. She said some shit about Tupac that had me like, oh God, gotta remember that's that generation. She still don't know nothing about nothing. Let her keep getting her shine on, because she wrote a book called You Better Make Him a Sandwich. And I was like, oh, she get it. The white man then got her. She's a great wife. And the white man then got her made. He didn't put them babies up in her. You know, Candace Owens over that on jumping on that dick. She pregnant again. That white man. I'm like, ooh, let me get me a 30-something-year-old, and I'm about to make me 3-4 more Frasers. Yeah, it's inspiring. It's inspiring. I don't want Vex's life insurance from y'all. Anyway, Candace Owens. I got me out here looking to procreate again. Ooh, make him a sandwich. Great title. I'm gonna buy that book, but I think she may be a little bit too young to understand some of the stuff she's talking about, even socially or politically. She grew up on Taylor Swift. She grew up in that generation that didn't have no idea what Pac was really trying to say. So, y'all notice I'm repping Kobe Bryant big time today. I got the Mamba mentality on as I try to get into doing some things in school. I'm going to be fading into the background while I try to accomplish those things. But on podcasts, Candace is killing the game. I watched something called Back on Fig out here on the West Coast, boy. It's going down. Names like Whack 100, Loose Cannon, Reggie Wright. The Death Row Days. They talking about Death Row Days, and then the new guys is coming up doing their thing. I'm just trying to figure it all out, because it looked like, at least on the outside looking in, like everybody doing better than me on the internet YouTuber side of the game. Look, $49 million net worth for me, and I'll be able to take care of them women that got them kids, and leave a little behind for my for the legacy, for them to fuck off after I'm dead. But I got very specific numbers in mind, and there's only a few people making those kind of deals. I don't know if it's happening on YouTube, so I don't get involved. But I was always thinking, shit, somebody about to get fucked up out in these streets, based on what I was hearing. Because if these guys is who they say they are, from the neighborhoods they say they from, those are the neighborhoods I'm from. And them niggas from the 80s and 90s, they spawned little versions of themselves. And a lot of these niggas will punch you in the motherfucking mouth, or pull up to your house and shoot the motherfucker up or something. They cut from a different cloth. Be careful on the YouTube streets when you talking. And the name Reggie Wright was one of those names. Choke No Joke and Gene Deal from the East Coast. They didn't put their 2 cents in on what was going on with these guys that I love so much. And I'm sitting here like, well, y'all better be careful, man. Just be careful on the YouTube street reporting with guys that love these guys, because K-Dub is still alive and well, and I love K-Dub, and he's still down with Death Row, man. I believe what K-Dub say over Reggie Wright, and if K-Dub ain't speaking, why the fuck is Reggie Wright speaking? He trying to make money off the shit too. Be careful, man. A lot of people didn't know who Reggie Wright was. He was just the security. A lot of us don't know who he is. And Choke No Joke and Gene Deal, hey man, they dig into the puffy dude. Stay on the East Coast side. Y'all remember, yes, there was real beef, and y'all had plumbers ready to take pipe wrenches to niggas' head just for being from New York. This Ty Turner nigga, Maisha, shitted out of her punk ass. My own father's from Brooklyn, New York. He's a bitch nigga. So just let me idolize, Run, and D, and J, and give motherfucking everybody I can, they props and shit. Give New York they props for them. Just let me look at y'all in the biggest light. Because if I look at the reality, hey man, Jay-Z died too, looking out for Mob Deep, nigga. When I find you weak, motherfuckers don't deserve to breathe. How many niggas done to die for me? Yeah, West Coast behind you. Should have never fucked with me. Man, we don't want to do that energy. Niggas is trying to raise their kids, love on these bitches, take care of these bitches that we love so dearly, and make a little money and have a little fun. So I don't like all that shit. Team Chaplin, man. Mamba mentality on y'all. Y'all making me just go back to the gym. I'm going to do another podcast and we're going to talk about me getting back with my girlfriend. Yeah, I went back to my wife. This is my first love right here. This is my life. This is my wife right here. I cheated on her with every woman I was with. Anyway, y'all. So they didn't talk about the West Coast and shit, talking about my favorite people on podcasts and shit. And I'm just saying, speaking on the names Suge Knight and R. Kelly might come back and bite a bunch of motherfuckers in the ass. They talking. They not dead. They both locked up. If there's one motherfucker that ain't got nothing to lose and ain't got no reason to lie, and shouldn't be lying, and shouldn't be saying too much, it's a motherfucker that's already behind the wall. Suge Knight and Robert R. Kelly. They're going to be talking. And if they were lied on, if somebody even told the slightest lie on those two men, the God I serve, he's a God of redemption. All it takes is for these guys to submit and get a life over, and God may very well redeem them. And you might see them both walk out healthy and ready to clear their names. And if that's the case, those two men have been kept relevant by the internet. Suge Knight and R. Kelly. Did these niggas break Suge's heart? He made some mistakes. He did some things, but remember, if his name come from Sugar Bear and he's got this reputation of being a nice guy that loves his people, damn, Snoop, Daz, Dre, he did some shit, but did they rub it in a little too tough? Did they hurt this man's feelings? Is he really a nice guy who over the years just kept getting his feelings hurt? He busted into a lot of rooms and fought for a lot of people to get their just due, and it didn't end up the way he thought. Even with Easy, did Suge actually really just want to be down at the end and help everybody, and it all just went left? My wife, the first lady of the church, would say spiritual warfare, man. Spiritual warfare is real, and it's not flesh and blood. We war against principalities and powers and rulers of the dark. And what if these men were all overtaken by spirits of doubt, deception, disbelief, jealousy, and they all just, damn, my era that I'm so proud of. Ruthless Records, Eric Wright, Death Row Records, Suge Knight, Drake, and went on with Aftermath. But Jimmy Iovine, Ted Fields, that's Interscope. What about that meeting in 91? Did it happen? And are we living the results of it? Who's getting the money now that I'm trying to make? $4.9 million contract, overall $49 million net worth. Damn. Might not be what I think. I know I saw a tribute to Guy, the group, R&B group Guy, that I thought was trash because Carl Thomas was doing too much. SWV was laughing and clowning, singing off key, doing a piece of My Love. But Dave Hollister was a bright spot. I love Dave Hollister, one of the OG members of Blackstreet, and you could tell he took it seriously. Do the 90s artists even respect the craft even that made them so popular? They all seem full of themselves, and that's my generation. And y'all motherfuckers need to put more work into it because it ain't the 90s, and a lot of us is happy without y'all in our life. We don't need y'all, and y'all think y'all need us to spend our money on gas and to come and buy your merch and to come out to the shows. I think y'all need us like I would have went in the 90s. I think you need me to do that now, and I ain't really feeling it. So Teddy Riley and Dave Hollister had beef, and to see Teddy Riley there, tribute to Guy, Dave Hollister singing, that was big for me. It was good to see them. But Aaron Hall's presence was missing, and some things have been attached to Aaron Hall's name that involved words like pedophile and rape. He did some freaky deaky shit. But his voice was missing, and it cannot be denied. A lot of people Aaron Hall's voice cannot be duplicated. A lot of people speaking on death row that should have just been quiet. Pac would be mad, and he'd probably be ashamed. That would bring me to the film side of all of this, where I believe Tupac would have flourished behind the camera and as executive producer of his film company. Everything we see our favorite celebrities doing, Pac was talking about kicking off and starting in the 90s when he got killed. I want to mention this lady, Sophia Stewart. It was a black woman that's behind the Matrix and the Terminator original books that Hollywood took and made into blockbusters. It makes me question people like James Cameron. A lot of people in Hollywood that we've been idolizing and we look up to, did they get their ideas from black women? Were black women robbed in Hollywood? Were black men, were black people, were people like me robbed in Hollywood of their talents? And was it monetized by people less talented who were in positions of control? That concept and thought alone breaks my heart. I'm trying to do it on my own myself, and that makes me lose hope. Happy birthday, man. I made it to 51. I probably won't be counting too many more birthdays because I'm doing some things that involve me aging backwards. I love y'all for sticking around. Thank y'all for y'all's time. And I hope to see y'all around the way and sell y'all some stuff that make y'all grateful and honored to patronize the things that I got going on. I plan on working hard, inspired by Kobe Bryant and Tupac Shakur, to give y'all a work ethic that inspires you to uplift and do the same for others in your life and in your realm. That's my version of a relationship. We do it my way, everybody win. We do it your way, and you might just be the one winning, which means we can't trust if you gonna help us. We do it my way, we can ensure that I will help and take care of us. It's probably why I'm best for polygamy, because I can lead a team, just a team of women in that relationship thing. Have fun in your life, have fun in your life. Get rid of all the stress and all the strife. Make sure you're going about your day, having fun your way and doing what you say. Don't copy another person, don't copy another man. Stick to your own plan, stick to your own man. This is what I'm saying, God got something for you if you just stay focused on what you gotta do. Now listen to Jay. Listen to what he say. Now go and have yourself a beautiful motherfucking day. Happy birthday to me. I made it to 51. Now it's time for me to go out and have a little fun. I'm gonna play some ball. Gonna get back in school. Gonna prove to these other bitches I ain't no fucking fool. I don't fuck with this shit that nigga you like to fuck with. I got some kids and I'm trying to make a hit on their behalf and do it for them and they sake. Making sure they mamas is straight. Y'all don't know it. I'ma get on out of here. I don't do it with no fear. I'ma go about my day and have some fun for myself. Try to chase this fucking wealth.